Hello and welcome to Old Ways Gardening and Prepping. My name is Teresa. I would like to welcome you into the kitchen with me for part two of making compound salves. Now, a family member was in a traumatic, horrid automobile wreck, and she is back home and needs a lot of healing. So I'm wanting to make salves to take down when I go to visit. And this is part two of the series of making compound salves correctly. Okay, before I even get started, make sure that all of your work area is clean and sanitized and you have basically everything you need and you don't forget something like I do. Okay, now this one is going to be a little more compound than the first one, but I have a specific reason for making this salve up. Now, of course, we're going to start with beautiful goldenrod oil, oh, goldenrod infused olive oil that I have homemade, and this is the last that I have, so I need to get busy making more. Now, a lot of people don't know goldenrod can be exchanged for arnica. It works the same for taking care of and healing deep um, traumatic bruises, sore muscles, inflamed muscles, and so on. Now, I am making a double batch, and we'll have the single batch recipe in the description box below this video. Now, for this recipe, I want 1 cup of goldenrod oil, and I just barely had enough. That was calling it close. Okay, second oil I'm going to add is mother of thyme oil. What it does is it works on inflamed muscles, inflamed joints, deep pain. It brings deep pain and trauma out of your body. It also, since she is bruised so badly from her neck down to her feet, this also helps to relax the veins and arteries around all the traumatized muscles, all the bruises and everything, which causes your heart to not have to work so hard. It relieves heart stress from traumatic body bruising and so on. Now, little of this goes a long way, so I'm only going to be adding a half a cup. The first salve that I made is going to be for a morning whole body use, especially her broke bones and fractured bones. It will heal those. This one is going to be for evening use, and you'll see why here after a while. And this is homemade patchouli infused oil. I need to make some more. Uh, Patchouli, believe it or not, is amazing for inflamed muscles, deep tissue injuries. It's calming, it's relaxing, and it is a massive healer. So I am going to want to add a half a cup of this into the oil mix. And do not worry, it will get all mixed up as it heats up. Now, I have a homemade double boiler here. This is my pan of water underneath, and the little pan will hold my oil. But first, I want to add, well, no, I'm going to go and add the oil. I want to make sure that I get no water. Get absolutely no water in your oil, because it can cause it to go rancid faster. And don't worry about getting every drop out, because you're going to be adding the hot oil back into it, so it's easier to pour into the tins. Now, these are vitamin E gel caps. I usually use not these, but 2 1000 I use a vitamin E per batch. I'm making a double batch, so typically I would be using 4 of the 1000 IU gel caps. I'm out of those. These are a slight bit smaller, but 3 equal up to just right at 1000 IUs. So what I'm going to do is do a little snip on them, and you squeeze the vitamin E oil out. Now, since I have so many to do, I'm going to pause the video and I'll bring you back as soon as I'm done with them. See you here in a bit. Okay, I got the 12 done. Don't waste it. Rub it on your hands. Now, do not worry about getting it mixed all up. You'll be whisking this mixture as it heats up on the stove top here in a bit. Alright, now comes the beeswax. Got my container. Zero it out. Now, if you're making a single batch, you only want 1 ounce of the yellow beeswax pellets, or if you're blessed to have blocks of beeswax, that's fine. Shave it, cut it up. You want 2 ounces for a double batch that I'm doing, or 1 ounce for a single batch. And there we go. And I will just pour that straight into the oil. Now I have my stove eye on, or the stove eye on. Cut my scale off. And what I'm going to do is be very careful. Make sure none of this water gets into your top pan. And you're going to bring this water up to medium, and as it gets warm, you're going to whisk your beeswax pellets or shaved beeswax until they are completely melted and incorporated into the oil. And then I will bring you right back. See you here after a while. Alright, like I said, I was going to make this one a little more special. I don't know why I didn't think about it, make it easier on her. I put the golden top on the first salve. That way gold represents the sun, so she knows this is morning. And I couldn't get the Sharpie marker completely off the silver lid, which silver represents the moon, and that way she'll know it's evening time salve. So I'm going to set these up and get them ready, because the beeswax is almost melted. Space them enough so you have enough room to pour them. Now, since she is having trouble sleeping, she's having some anxiety and depression because of what all has gone on. It has been a horrid, tragic time. I am going to add pure lavender essential oil. Lavender will help with relaxation, being able to go to sleep, so will the patchouli as well. And lavender helps with sore muscles and inflammation. And I'm going to make it just a little bit stronger. Oops. Okay, well, there's 24 plus 1, 25 drops in the salve jar that I'll be making for her. Now, I want to add, because I want these a little strong as well, but not too strong. I'm going to add 13 drops per 10. No, I'm going to go with 14. And you want to do it right before your beeswax is melted so the scent doesn't evaporate. Now, since I know this is going to be The leftover 10 here, I'm only going to put 10 drops. Because I don't think it's going to fill the 10 all the way up. And I have my popsicle stick for stirring, and I'll bring y'all back as soon as it's ready. Okay, you want to make sure that every piece of beeswax is completely melted. You want to wipe off as much water as you can. And I'll scrape out the rest of the oil here in a bit. Oh, it smells so good. Okay, not worried about this tin because this tin is ours, and I'm going to scrape everything out in a bit. I do want to stir each one to make sure that the lavender gets incorporated. You want to make sure there's no bubbles in your salve. Be careful, your tins will be very hot. And I'll stir this one once I get done, making sure that I get all the oil or the salve out of this pan. You don't want to waste anything. And while it's still warm, you scrape down as much of the salve as you can. I'm going to let that sit in the warm water and heat back up. Excuse me, because I'm not worried about our tin of salve looking pretty. You can tell it's lavender. That's a beautiful smelling salve. And I hope that jar of salve brings her great peace at night. You won't get all of the salve out, but you can try to get as much as possible out. And while it's still warm, I'm going to add 4 more drops of lavender to it. And I'm going to take my little popsicle stick and watch out because these tins are hot. You want to get that mixed in and around. That way every absolute bit of it has the lavender in it. And if you do it just right, it can turn pretty. It's not going to be as pretty as these, but you know what? It's going to work just like these do. Okay, now comes the fun part. I'm going to let them sit here and rest until they are completely cooled. And I will bring you back here in just a little bit. See you after a while. Okay, they have completely cooled and solidified. They are solid. They're not brick hard. They're just hard enough to easily rub on wherever you hurt. Lavender. Wherever you hurt or have bruising, sore muscles, you name it. This is her special jar. You still want to make sure that they are cool. They are not warm at all, because if they're warm, you can take a chance on the center caving in and condensation happening inside your cap. And if condensation happens, your salve will go bad. You want to make sure that you have a good seal on your tins. That way they are airtight. All I have to do now is print labels for them. bug in my hair. And this one, of course, is rolled on because that is ours to keep and use. And this is for family. I'm praying that it makes her feel better and helps her to sleep as well. Simple, easy, homemade medicinals that I know for a fact will work. All you need is the ingredients and the containers to put the salve in, and patience. I hope this encourages you to make your own salves as well at home by making your own herbal infused oils. Continue to stock your pantries with food that will sustain and nourish you, medicinals that will heal you, protection, and the bare necessities that you're going to need. I look forward to seeing you in my next video. I hope you enjoyed this two-part video on making compound salves, and may you each be blessed. Hoot hoot. I'll see you soon.